Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you like and subscribe to the channel. This is about what it's like to be tortured when you are transferred inside of the Department of Corrections. And I'm talking about a transfer, whether it's from prison to prison, whether you're being transferred from the prison to any place in the outside world, like a hospital or to court, or there's times in the prison system where you have to be transferred. And the process is really, really stressful. The process is really, really tiring, man. It's torture. I would consider it torture. So I'll give you some examples of how this works. Let's say you're being transferred from one facility to another. They don't give you much notice that you're being transferred. Usually it's 24-hour notice. And when you are being transferred, the facility shuts off your phone. This way you can't call anyone and let them know that you're going to be on the move. And usually it's when you're inside of your cell, an officer will just come up, make sure your cell is locked, and tell you you're on the transfer. They don't tell you where you're going. They don't tell you when you're going. They just bring a bunch of potato sacks to your cell and tell you to pack your property. And then the next morning, or that evening, a matter of fact, they will take you down to the draft room, the processing room, and they will go through a sheet and log everything that you have, your personal property. I'm talking about 5 pairs of socks, 10 pairs of underwear, 2 shirts, 1 pair of headphones, 1 typewriter. They're going to mark 1 pair of nail clippers, 1 bottle of shampoo. They're going to go through every single thing that you are packing up. They'll tell you what you're not allowed to bring with you. And that's the way the process starts, that they bring you to the draft room. And then they'll put you back in your cell. All your personal property will stay in that draft room. They'll bring you back to your cell, and your phone will shut off, and you'll stay in your cell until the morning when the process begins. They will come to your cell and wake you up very early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. Your cell will open. You'll say goodbye to the fellas. The other guys in the cell around you will be saying, yo, see you later, fish, man. Take care. Be good, man. Let me know where you're going. You don't even know where you're going. You know, sometimes there's ways to find out where you're going. If you have a boy that works in the draft room or something like that, he may be able to take a peek at the paperwork to find out where you're going. And usually there's a bunch of other guys going with you. You may be going to the same facility or different facilities. There's many reasons that they put you on the draft and send you to another prison. One could be for disciplinary reasons. The other could be because of good behavior. Your classification dropped. It could be because they just need to move bodies in another prison, or there was a big riot in another prison, and now they want to put new bodies in that prison, and they're moving people around. So there's all types of reasons people go on the draft. That's what it's called, the draft, and get transferred from one prison to another. So they wake you up at about 5:30 in the morning. They'll bring you down to the processing room, to the draft room. And all you have on is your state greens. When you move from one facility to another, you can't have any personal clothes on at all. They don't even want you to have personal underwear on. You're going to have your state green shirt, your state green pants, a pair of state issued socks, your state issued underwear, and your state issued boots, and a state issued jacket if you want to bring your jacket. And that's all that you have with you, nothing else. You're on the move. And they'll bring you down to the draft room. And when you get down there, the officer, the first thing he'll do is he'll put you in a strip cell and tell you to get naked, 100% naked. You're going to take off everything that you have, and you're standing in front of him naked as the day you were born. And he's going to look through your clothes to make sure you didn't hide anything inside of your clothes. So he'll check your shirt, he's checking your pants, he's turning your socks inside out, he's shaking your underwear, you know, he's looking under the soles of your sneakers. He's making sure that you're not bringing anything with you when you're on the move. And then after that, he's going to tell you to run your fingers through your hair, pull your ears down like this, open up your mouth, move your tongue around, put your fingers in your mouth. Then he's going to tell you to lift your arms so he can see your armpits. Then he's going to tell you to lift your genitals so he can see under there. Then he'll tell you to turn around. And you turn around and he said, let me see the bottom of your feet. Show him the bottom of your feet. Then he'll tell you to squat down, spread your ass apart. You squat down. So now he makes sure you have nothing on your person, nothing on your body. He'll give you your state issued clothes back. He'll tell you to get dressed. This is 5 o'clock in the morning, right? And there's say 20, 30 officers doing this with 20, 30 guys. And so there's a little chaos going on, and everyone gets strip searched and checked. And then they will have you walk through a metal detector after that. Right after that, you'll walk through a metal detector. And then after you walk through the metal detector, they'll then sit you in a metal detector chair, which is called the boss. That's to make sure you don't have anything stuffed up inside of your rectum that's metal. They sit you down in the chair. If there's any metal in there, the chair will make a beeping sound. And if there is metal, then that's a whole different story. But let's say you clear the metal detector, you clear the chair, you cleared the strip search, and then you go into an area to be chained up. And so you get into this one area, and the first thing that they'll do is put a pair of handcuffs on you. And once they put the pair of handcuffs on you, they have a black box that goes over the handcuffs. So now you're like this. You're locked up over the handcuffs. So usually handcuffs have that little chain in the middle where you can move a little. You got a little like leeway. But once the black box goes on, you're stuck together like this, right? So you're handcuffed with the black box. Then they wrap a chain around your waist, all the way around your waist, the steel chain, and the steel chain goes through a little loop in the black box. They take a master lock and lock that. So now you're really stuck like this. Your arms are chained to your chest, okay? And you have no movement like this. Then after that, they're going to put a pair of shackles on your ankle. Now you get the shackles on your ankle. Sometimes you're shackled to another prisoner. Most of the time you're shackled to another prisoner, one leg to one leg. You hope to be shackled alone. This way you can move a little. So after you're chained and shackled, they'll sit you in a bullpen, which is a cell where you wait. And this is where the torture goes, because it's 5:30 in the morning. You might not be leaving till 8 o'clock in the morning. So you're going to sit there for 3 hours chained and shackled in that position as they chain and shackle all the other guys that are going on the transfer as well. For hours, you're chained and shackled. You know, if you have to urinate, if you have to use the bathroom, it's almost impossible. And then what's crazy is they'll serve you your breakfast, which is crazy because the breakfast is a stale bread with one piece of bologna and one piece of cheese on it. That's your breakfast. And you get one of those little drinks that they call crackhead drinks, the little quarter water drinks. They may give you something like that. If it's breakfast time, they may give you a milk, who knows? But you have to eat it when you're shackled and chained like that. So you're trying to reach into the brown bag and put the food inside of your mouth. And the uncomfortableness of this situation is really, really rough. I was a little younger when I was going through it too. To think that I would have to go through that at this age would be, I don't even know how I would fathom dealing with that torture. It's true torture. So after you're in that position, they're going to start loading you on the bus. And of course, there's a lot of ID checks, identification checks to make sure everybody that's getting on the bus is who's supposed to be going out, you know, and so they're constantly IDing you, constantly checking what's your name, what's your number, what's your date of birth, what cell do you lock in, what area do you lock in, you know, and then you still at this point sometimes don't even know where you're going, what facility you're going to. And so now you get loaded up onto the bus. They load you onto the bus and you're on a prison bus. Usually doesn't have any windows. Usually, you know, it's sealed up, and the officers give you their speech. They give you the speech. Listen, there's no talking on the bus, no screaming on the bus, no standing up, no noise, no this. They're, really laying the law down because they want this to go as smooth as possible. But always there's crazy noise and this and that. Now, prisons are usually very, very far from one another. I mean, I'm talking they could be 6 hours away, 8 hours away, 10 hours away, So the transfer is pretty rough. And a lot of times when you're going on a transfer from one prisoner to another, they don't direct you to that prison. You may have a layover somewhere else. Like they use Auburn Prison for a layover. Auburn Prison is absolutely disgusting. It is atrocious. And what they'll do is the bus will pull in there, right? And let's say you've been chained and shackled for 5, 6 hours already, 3 hours in the morning, another 3 hours on the bus. So you're 6 hours in chains and shackles, right? And there's no bathroom on there. You're not using any bathroom on the bus. And then they bring you, let's say you stop off at Auburn. So then they'll uncuff you. They got to uncuff you in Auburn, take everything off you like that. And then they'll put you in a cell, in a nasty 2-man, dirty, double bunk cell where you're stuck in this place that you don't have a toothbrush, you don't have toothpaste, you don't have soap, you don't have deodorant, you don't have anything because all your personal property was tossed under the bus and treated like garbage, broken, things are broken under there, everything's getting smashed, and you're on the move. Your family don't know where you're going. Your friends don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. You stop in this holdover prison. They don't even give you a toothbrush. They used to have these little sponge things in plastic that you could wipe your teeth with. You were lucky if you got it. And when you get to the holdover prison, you don't go out into the population. You're staying in your cell. I've been stuck in the holdover prisons for 4 or 5 days before they have another bus taking you to where you're taking. So you're living in the cell for 4 or 5 days. You're washing yourself with a little washcloth if you're lucky. You're trapped in the cell with some stinky ass dude, you know what I mean, who's usually screaming and yelling and has no idea how to do time. It's pretty nuts, man. It's pretty nuts. All these guys want is cigarettes. Everyone wants to smoke. They don't have cigarettes, so they're jonesing for their cigarettes. You spend your time in the holdover prison. If you're lucky, you don't go to the holdover prison. You go directly to where you're going. But that don't happen a lot of the time, man. A lot of the time you get stuck. So now it's back the next morning. Whenever they're ready to take you out, you got to go through the whole chain and shackle process again. They'll wake you up early in the morning, chain you, shackle you, wrap the thing around your body, give you your brown bag of bologna sandwich on stale bread, put you back on the bus. This is going on for 2-3 days now. And you're on the move again, going to the prison that you get to. When you get to the prison that you get to, they may keep you on the bus for an hour when you pull into the prison because they have to come on the bus and ID every single person before they allow the bus into the prison. They need to know the identification of every single person on that bus. They clarify all of that. They search the bus. They check under the bus. They look in the engine of the bus, the whole 9 yards. They take mirrors. They go look under the bus with mirrors. Then they allow the bus into the prison. Like, who's going to sneak into the prison, right? But that's what they do, And then once you get on there, like I said, you may be sitting for another hour before they take these chains and shackles off of you. And now you're in your new facility, And so it has taken you 3 to 4 to 5 days to get from one facility to another with no shower, no good food, no cosmetics, no hygiene, people screaming and yelling, officers talking to you like you're the sickest piece of garbage. And it really, really is stressful to be transferred from one facility to another. There's also the stress of not knowing what situation you're walking into, right? Of not knowing what situation you're walking into. You could be walking into a prison where there's a lot of drama. You could be walking into a prison that's worse than the prison that you came from. You know what I mean? Where you just don't have as many privileges. Let's say you were in a facility that had refrigerators and a stove or a stovetop, and now you're going to a prison that doesn't have either. You know what I mean? You were going to a prison where I had a good laundry, and now you're going to a prison where you have to wash your clothes by hand. So there's all types of good and bad about moving from one facility to another. You may get lucky and go to a facility that's better than the one you came from. Of course, that's what everyone hopes for. So once you get to that new facility, all your personal property that with you, it has to go to the draft room again. And so now the officers will open up these potato sacks. Guys used to move with 8, 10 potato sacks full of personal property. But then while I was in prison, the Department of Corrections put a limit. I think it was 4 bags that you were only allowed to travel with. It may even be less than that. But now the officer opens up your bags and he goes through everything and lets you know what you're allowed to have in this facility. Because let's say in your last facility, you were allowed to have an 8-inch fan. But in this facility, you can only have a 6-inch fan. So now you lose your fan. As he's going through the stuff, nope, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have this. And then he gives you a choice. You want to send it? You want to ship it out at your expense, or do you want to destroy it? Those are your options. And so now they're taking stuff away from you. You're only allowed to have 50 photographs. You got 100 photographs. What do you want to do with these 50? So you start losing stuff. That's what sucks about going from one facility to another, unless you get somebody who's half decent and really doesn't care. That's going from one facility to another. There's other reasons for being transferred, like if you're leaving the facility to go to an outside hospital. Let's say that you need an MRI for something. They don't do that in the prison. They don't do. I don't think they do X-rays in the prisons either. A couple of prisons might have X-rays. I'm not sure. I really don't remember. So if you need an X-ray or an MRI, or you need to see a specialist, and they're sending you out, then you get shipped out, and you go through the same chaining process, shackling process, getting woken up early in the morning. Being transferred is one of the most nerve-wracking, depressing, loud, stressful things. So if you have a loved one incarcerated and he tells you that, or she tells you that they're on the transfer, you really got to have some pity for them about what they're going to go through, and try and be a little patient with them, because it is something that I'll never forget. It is the opposite of enjoyable. Being transferred really sucks, man. Being transferred sucks in the Department of Corrections, and that's the way it goes when you're getting transferred from one facility to another.